So I invited Little Nug to the studio one day. He ended up being 3 hours late, which was kind of whack, but I mean, he pulled through. He put the headphones on in the booth. He did his thing, and the rest is history.
You know I gotta have it, just ordered that new bait. You see my diamonds dripping over here just like a lake. Linking up with Frankie, big apple on my plate. We hit the booth together and we cooking like a steak. Hit 'em with that sizzle, got that sauce in the squeeze.
This melody came into my mind, and I just couldn't get it out, and I had to write it down, so I booked it out of that line. Went back to my car, and I had another parking ticket, of course. That kind of distracted me and threw me off, and I totally forgot the melody by the time I got home. But when I got there, I went to my station, checked my emails, and I saw my buddy sent me this dope sample. So I kind of messed around with it a little bit, and it just went crazy. Yeah, so I threw the sample in Ableton. I threw a gross beat on there, halftime that, and turned on some transient shapers on the file. On the hats, the snares, the kicks, I halftime those two, and gross beat. Just cause I just kind of felt like it. Gross beat's just a generally good thing to use, you know. It just kind of made it sound a little more fresh, a little more groovy. For the drums, I kind of just layered in a basic pattern, then just kind of went nutty with it, warped it a little bit. Kind of got some interesting sounds, I thought. It's so important to just give it your own feel.
What are you, cracking? You sick or what?
Yeah, so these samples here, they weren't in the original beat. I actually threw them in towards the end. I thought it needed a little something because it was a little empty in those spots. And I went on YouTube, looked up Frank Sinatra, and found some speaking samples of him and threw them in. They fit perfectly. They kind of accented the piece well. And yeah, it turned out great.
Boy, if you got something funny to say, Frank, sing it.
I started off with a nice high, mid, low kind of pattern for the 808s, as you can kind of see on here. Yeah, so right there is where it kind of just goes boop, boop, boop. Gives it that nice, like, kind of dropping down feel. It really emphasizes the lower bass. Yeah, so overall on the end mix, I ended up throwing on a compressor, turned that way up, you know. You really got to compress your stuff, otherwise it just doesn't sound professional. Put a low pass on the master too, along with some band pass on the drums. I mean, you gotta know what mixing is to kind of understand this, but it's a process. It's a process. So I thought Nug would be like perfect for this track. Kind of had that New York feel. So Little Nug actually ended up going to college for 2 weeks, I believe it was. In New York City before dropping out, and I was like, all right, he's got some history, so I called him up, threw him on the track, and I mean, he killed it. So basically he got in the studio, and right off the bat I played him the beat, and he already had stuff going through his head, you know. I could see like the gears kind of working together. It came out like right away. I mean, he was in the booth, one take, and that was all he needed.
We cooking like a steak, hit 'em with that sizzle, got that sauce in the squeeze. Sinatra drinking coffee, but instead I pop a bean.
Started rapping about a bunch of weird lyrics. I didn't really know what it meant, but I thought it sounded pretty good. I just feel like I was put on this earth to write music. I know I'm a really creative guy, and it just kind of comes out really easily. And being able to work with people like Lil Nug, you know, it just gives me inspiration to keep doing what I'm doing. I think the most rewarding part of this process is just like seeing the end product and seeing how it affects people. Because really, like, in the studio, you're not really thinking about like how it's going to end up being. You're just in the process, you know. So I think the really rewarding part is playing it at our shows and seeing people go crazy over all these things. And just, it's a blessing. Like, every day I'm just so happy to be able to like do what I want to do as a living and be making so much money off of it, you know. So.
one.
Fly me to the moon, see the stars in space. LØKØ dropping shit off the Empire State. I got a pot of something and it's cooking on the stove. He asked for cream and sugar, but I guess he doesn't know. He wants some Joe, yeah, he's turning red.
Yeah, so at every one of our concerts that we do now, the fans usually go crazy over the part where it says "Fly Me to the Moon" and then he ad-libs "Zoom," and it just they go nuts, dude. It's crazy, but it's a banger, and I'm glad to have been working with this man.